Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer 54, back in another video, and today, uh, welcome back, finally, to the cross-channel event. I know, it's been a long time, like, April 7th, 2022, last time. Yeah, so, not really my best, but you know what? We live and we learn. So today, we're bringing it back. Because I'm feeling way too much of the Five Nights at Freddy's feeling right now. So, yeah. So, finally, after so long, we're going to be doing an analysis. I'm going to take you through what happened at 1:35 a.m. The third book, the first story of the third book, Fazbear Frights number 3. Basically the same title. So what do we need to go? So again, if you guys haven't know what we're going to be talking about, this is going to be containing spoilers. But you're in luck. In my second channel, Alex the Wolf YouTube, that's where I've been doing the read-throughs of Fazbear Frights as well as Tales from the Pizzaplex. And 1:35 a.m. is currently has been read, and is right there on the playlist. So I will leave a link to the playlist, so that way you can listen to me reading to you 1:35 a.m. So you can go check over there and see what horrors befell in these stories. But for those who have already know 1:35 a.m., let's get started. So what happened at 1:35 a.m.? Well, this is what you need to know. We follow the story of Delilah. Delilah is a 23-year-old woman who is down on her luck, unfortunately. Her parents died when she was 11, and she had been in and out of foster homes essentially her entire life. Her therapist told her that she has an obsessive personality. Once latched on to something, it's incredibly difficult to unlatch from it. And unfortunately, Delia is down on her luck. She's been recently divorced. And since she signed a patent agreement, she only had enough money to get an apartment, some secondhand furniture, and her old tan compact sedan. I think that's what it's called. I can't speak. And after rereading 1:35 a.m., it's now come apparent to me that she has a juvie record, and having dropped out of high school, Delilah's only job is a shift manager at the nearby diner. But one day, her alarm clock didn't work, and she woken up at 6:25 a.m. by her neighbor, Mary, singing. The diner's owner, Nate, informs Delilah that she has to take the 2 to 10 shift. She goes out for a jog, and when she returns home, she discovered that she was out of cookies and milk. Not the cookies and milk. After a visit of the grocery store, she spots a garage sale sign. Delia browsers it. I can't believe I say Bowser. But she explored it and came across Elila, the elaborated helper doll. And if Elila sounds similar, if Ella sounds similar, don't worry. She's exactly who you think it is. She's a helper. Lila is a helper doll manufactured by Fazbear Entertainment, which Delia hasn't heard of, in the 1980s. The doll reminds her of a baby that she wanted to have, Emma. Very coincidental. Ella, Emma. Sounds so alike. Although the only working function is an alarm clock. She purchases after narrowed the price down to 15%. $15. God, I can't even speak today. Delia returns home and sets the alarm for 1:35 a.m. But it doesn't go off as she gets an angry call from Nate at 2:25 p.m. She grabs Ella and throws her away in the dumpster outside. Yeah. So you bought a doll that is somewhat sounds similar to the baby that you didn't have, and the first thing it does for not working is throwing it out of the garbage. I ain't trying to sound mean, but maybe you shouldn't have had that baby, Delilah. I'm sorry. It had to be said. Okay? Nate opens the back door of the dining right as Delilah is throwing Ella's away, so she misses which dumpster Ella went in. Delilah's shift goes quickly, but when she goes to sleep, she's woken at 1:35 a.m. She thinks that she accidentally set the alarm on Ella wrong, but she's too tired to go look. In the morning, she met with her best friend Harper. The two met 6 years ago in a foster care, working together to get a life through Gerald, the ex-military husband of the couple who took them in. Harper is upset to hear that Layla has been thrown out, as she believes she could be valuable. At the diner, Nate had permanently set Delilah up with a 2 to 10 shift, which she is thankful for. That night, she hears whispering and wakes up at 1:35 a.m. She tries to find Ella, but the dumpster has been moved. The next night, she woken up again and she remembers that the dumpsters were empty on Thursdays. So Ella should be gone in the morning, right? Story over, right? Well, when Delilah is woken up at 1:35 a.m. once again, she goes and checks the dumpster, discovering that they have been emptied. The next morning, she calls Harper to ask if she recovered Ella from the dumpster, but Harper is confused. Later, Delilah drives back to the house with a garage sale only to discover it empty. She tells herself that probably they moved away, but she still feels creeped out and returns home. Doing some research on the doll reveals production was discontinued for disinclude reasons. But the only other thing she finds is an online ad by a user named Phineas. Not Phineas Fetcher, not like Phineas and Ferb, come on. Although it would be nice to see Phineas. Who wants to pay a premium for the special Ella doll and its energy. What does that mean? Go read a book. Go read the book, my boys. Go read a book, my friend. Over the next few days, Delilah was forced awakened at 1:35 a.m. She hears something in the wall between her and Mary's apartment. In the morning, Delilah begins to tell Mary about the garage sale, but Mary cuts her off and said that secondhand things bring secondhand energy and garage sales are awful. Her words, not mine. 3 more nights make Delilah certain Ella is retreating into Mary's apartment. So when Mary leaves at 4:30 p.m., Delilah breaks in, uncovers Mary's tragic backstory, but not Ella. Delilah begins physically reacting to getting in bed. And on the 15th night, Delilah calls Harper. Harper tells Delilah that she's having a panic attack, but she has to go perform. So Delilah looks up ways to deal with panic attacks. Later, Delilah explains that she believes Ella has defected programming. Harper doesn't think that's possible, but Delilah doesn't want to believe Ella is haunted. Oh, if only she knew. Delilah tries to sleep on the sofa in the bathtub, but after 4 nights, nothing changed. She thinks that Ella can get her if she isn't sleeping, so she asks Nate if she can have the night shift. Nate agrees to make the switch. On her first night, she hears an alarm, but no one else does. On the third night, she thinks she sees Ella playing on a stool, but it was just a customer's purse. On the fifth night, she thinks she sees something bright blue fluttering across the parking lot, and in her rush to get outside, she accidentally breaks salt and pepper shakers. Delilah cries for the first time in the 23 nights. Ella's tormented her. Glenn, the chef working on the night shift, comforts her as she calls Nate. Nate leads her to his office and fires her. He tells her that he's a good worker, but she needs to work on her problems outside the diner. I mean, way to ruin the mood, Nate. Way to ruin the mood. Delilah calls Harper to ask to stay with her, and she agrees. Harper gets rid of Delilah's watch so she couldn't focus on the time, but when 1:35 a.m. hits, she hears Gerald's voice. She remembers that Harper can do an accurate impression of Gerald, and she accuses her of having Ella. Delilah only gets 3 hours of sleep before she's woken up by Harper at 10 o'clock a.m., who seemed to have either forgotten or forgiven Delilah's behavior. Delilah decides to leave while Harper is in the feeders, and she checks into the Bed For You motel. She hears crawling on the roof and she's paralyzed. But when she sees that it's 1:35 a.m., she's able to move again. Delilah jumps to the floor, and at the red neon light outside reveals nothing at the ceiling. Later at the motel that next day, Delilah decided to drive around the city, hoping Ella's circuits haven't model, color, and license plate of the car. Because if that's the case, then that's scary. Imagine a toy coming after you and knowing exactly the car you drive. Oh nah. She thinks about driving into a country, but stops, believing a populated area would keep her safe. After going to a drive-in movie theater, the final film ends at midnight, and she light gets out, gives her an idea. At 1:33 a.m., Delia drives on a big bridge, where there's tons of cars. But when at 1:35 a.m. hits, the passenger door unlocks and unlatches. Just as quickly as it opened, it slams shut. Then something hit the roof of the car, causing Delia to speed off and take the first exit, following a river. Delia eventually reaches a well-lit, boarded-up factory. She runs into a drainage pipe at the far side, hiding her purse in a stack of railroad ties in case Ella isn't linked to it. Once inside the drainage pipe, she begins kneeling. Her entire body is violently shaking, and the fear she feels is beyond comprehension. Believing Leia will find her, she runs away, eventually coming across a seemingly abandoned construction site. Certain it will help her, she enters it and finds an uncovered vent opening. Delia wiggles her way in, using her flashlight to lead her to a downward twirl. Her flashlight slip, fall, and breaking. Left in darkness, Delia confirms that she stuck and relaxes, certain that Alayla will never find her again. And I'm pretty sure we all know where this is going. Yeah, she gone, son. She gone. And that's the story of 1:35 a.m. So, what can we take away from 1:35 a.m.? Well, many things actually. Firstly, the fact that the story ends with essentially a woman stuck in the vents. And when I first read that the first time, I immediately thought of the story from Sister Location, where they found a body in the vent. So, is this story telling us about that? I mean, maybe. We're not so sure, but maybe. Other than that, the story did feature Ella, a returning character from, you guessed it, the original novels. You know, with Charlie, Emily, and everything. However, in this story, Ella is no longer just, an afterthought. She's actually a main antagonist. Also, a little Easter egg, but 135 is another way of saying the date 13/5, or May 13th, which was Charlie's birthday from the novel trilogy. So I thought that was nice and, something to point out. Now, the juicier parts. I will say this. This is the fourth story connecting the Stitch Rave story, or the Stitch Rave saga. The others being To Be Beautiful, Out of Stock, and The Real Jake. And you can best believe that those stories that I haven't read yet, mainly The Real Jake, will be coming to the second channel shortly. But I will say that in the epilogue of this book, Epilogue 3, we met Dr. Phineas Taggart, a man who was mentioned as a user looking for the Ella on the internet. The Ella with wanting to pay a premium for the special doll and its energy. Why? Well, it's basically explained through the many epilogues, but I'll explain it when it comes to that. But also in epilogue 5, so the epilogue for book 5, a homeless man, Grim, sees Stitch Wave pulling Ella's arm out of a trash bag in his hideout. So it's seemingly that I think Ella just stopped as soon as Delilah was no more. Which, that's kind of messed up, but it's the animatronics. What do you expect? It's just crazy. And in epilogue 10, in the 10th book, Detective Larson, who is essentially our protagonist in the whole Stitch Rave saga, visits in one of his hallucinations Delilah's apartment, revealing that either Eleanor infected Ella with agony, because yes, Eleanor is a big threat not only in her own story but also in the Stitch Rave story. But it could also mean that Eleanor herself was the one who terrorized Delilah every night, which, I'm gonna be honest, seems feasible, to be honest, because I may not have read the original novels. It's been a while since I read them. I just don't think Ella has the capacity to move around. Like, she was stuck in the tracks that she was. Like, she comes out of a closet and she just comes out, connected to railing. So I don't think that she'll be able to go around. So I do think that Eleanor was the one who was terrorizing Delilah. So that's 2 for 2 so far with her. Like, she already, she already ruined Sarah's life. Like, she already ruined Sarah's life in To Be Beautiful, taking her image and all. And now it's possible that she has ruined Delilah's life as well. She truly is a menace. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do expect more, analysis of the Fazbear Frights books. And heck, who knows? We might even do the same thing with the Tales from the Pizzaplex books. But anyways, guys, this has been Juan Gamer 54. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.